Okay, hey there, folks. For those who've been watching the show over the last few years, you know the format. Well, this afternoon we're doing something a little different. So, welcome to a special edition of Russ's Rock and Roller Coaster, intriguing interviews with creative minds. We're big fans of books on this show, as you know. So, we'll be doing a short interview with my pal, author, and fellow Crazy 8 Press inmate, Aaron Rosenberg. Aaron is an award-winning author who writes in, well, pretty much every genre you can think of, but tonight he's got something new. Welcome back, Aaron.
Thanks, Russ. Yeah, always good to be here.
All right, good to see you. All right, so over the years, you've written space opera, sci-fi comedy, fantasy, role-playing games, children's books, occult thrillers, some Sherlock Holmes, and who knows what else I'm forgetting. And now you've got a new novel out through Crazy 8 Press called The Adventures of Cannon Belle. So first, what genre are we talking about here?
So, Cannon Belle is actually a straight up Regency romance. There is no magic, there is no super science, there are no aliens, no other worlds, nothing.
So when we say, for those who don't know, what is Regency romance? What does that mean?
So, Regency romance is a very specific type of romance novel, which is set during the British Regency era. That is when Jane Austen's novels are all set.
So we're talking what time period are we talking?
Oh God, of course you're going to ask me for dates. I should have researched. I should have studied for this.
Okay.
Um, oh God, I never remember the exact dates. It's like
The 1700s, 1800s?
1860, 1814.
Okay. All right. So
1814.
early 1800s. Okay.
Early
So,
1800s.
all right. So this is the first Cannon Bell novel, but
Yes,
not the first Cannon Bell appearance. So
correct.
tell me about the origin of the character of Cannon Bell and why you wanted to expand her adventures into a novel.
Yeah, so when we did the first Thrilling Adventure Yarns anthology, which of course is all pulp stories, I decided to do a swashbuckling story because it's a fun genre and it's not one that I write a lot in. But of course, I can't do anything just straight up. So I had to turn it a little bit. So I decided to do mine about a female pirate captain, and I named her Cannon Belle. And in particular, I had a lot of fun imagining her as being torn between two worlds because her oh, I want almost at her day job, but in her regular identity, she is actually aristocracy. She is the daughter of a baron. Her name is Isabella Parsons. She is landed gentry and the whole bit. And then on the other side of that is Cannon Belle Piercy, who is her pirate captain guise. And it was really fun writing about her having to live in both worlds and having to figure out how to balance the two. So I wrote that first story called Belle of the Ball, and I had so much fun with it that a year later, when we did the second Thrilling Adventure Yarns anthology, I wrote a second Cannon Belle story called The First Dance. And after I had written that one, I'm sort of thinking to myself, she's a lot of fun. I should do more stories with her. And then I thought, well, do I want to do more short stories with her, or do I really want to be able to explore the character properly in a novel? And I realized that in a lot of ways, Belle of the Ball and The First Dance were the first portions of a novel. I did go back and revise them and clean them up and alter some things and sync them up a little bit even tighter than they were. But that was the genesis of it. I was thinking, really, I want to do a full length. Jane Austen's one of my favorite authors. I want to do a full length, like Jane Austen writes female pirate captain novel.
Okay. So for the Adventures of Cannon Bell, the new novel, to get us started, give us an overview of the plot. Give us a trailer for the novel.
Well, so like I said, the real thing is that you have Isabella Parsons, who is the daughter of a baron. She is wealthy, she is young, she is single, she has responsibilities to deal with, she has a high standing in her town and her region. And then you have Cannon Belle Piercy, who is a feared female pirate captain, who is known and feared all throughout the Aegean, and who has recently moved over to the German Ocean, which is what they used to call the North Sea, and the two are one and the same. So you have one person who is trying to balance these two aspects of her life, trying to keep all the people around her safe, trying to find her own way, and then to complicate things, a dashing Navy captain arrives on the scene with the mission of capturing the feared Cannon Belle, and of course at the same time winds up falling for Isabel Parsons. So now she has that to deal with, again, in both guises. And what happens is that her dual identities start running into each other. They start clashing and overlapping and merging, and she has to find a way to get through it all.
So not to give away, too many spoilers here, but is this a kind of thing where she's just changing her clothes and you could very clearly tell it's the same person, or she's sort of just physically, you would need to do at least a couple of double takes to think, wait, is that the same? Or is it
She
pretty obvious?
Not obvious. No, she's thought it through. She actually has a disguise. It's not just clothing. But it's interesting because one of the aspects of it, and that's part of what interested me, is that clothing and manner really play a large role. So if you sound a certain way and you act a certain way, especially in a time period like that, people are going to take you very differently. Most people, even if she did not bother with a full disguise, would listen and look at Cannon Belle versus Isabel Parsons and not realize they're the same person because they act differently towards you.
So again, not to give away spoilers, or you can decide how much you do or don't want to give away.
Yeah,
So the dashing young, authority figure who's coming in and sort of on the prowl of the pirate captain, does he know her from her other life?
no,
No. Okay. So
does
it's not.
not.
Okay. Okay. So it's not like, wait, you seem awfully familiar. Okay. So it's a completely
No,
different. So he just comes in but he's unaware that she has this double life going on.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and part of that, too, of course, is the fact that with pirates, you're dealing with ship to ship battle, so you're dealing from a distance.
True.
So even if the two ships come near each other, you're still separated, and there's still the wind and the waves and everything else and all the distractions, as opposed to meeting each other in a ballroom or on a street
Right.
where you're, a few feet apart. It's very different.
And my understanding is that the novel takes place, or some of the action is at sea, but some of it is also on land. Correct?
Correct.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. So from what you're saying, it sounds like you've got Cannon Belle in this juxtaposition between this fierce pirate independence, this sort of on one side, and this sort of very proper, mannered, cultured, aristocracy, completely different world. And then that sort of inflection point is this sort of complicated matters of the heart in between.
Yes.
Right. Okay. All right. So fair. All right. So I'm deeply familiar with your work as you are with mine.
Right.
One of the hallmarks of your work is a gentle and sometimes a snarky sense of humor. But this novel doesn't really sound funny exactly. Talk to me about the tone of this novel.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that, if you've read any Jane Austen, obviously you know that Jane Austen had humor to her. She had a sharp wit, and most of it came through in poking fun of the people and habits of her time period. I mean, so that's what a drawing room novel really is, and that's what Cannon Belle is. There is humor to it, but it is certainly not the ridiculous, over the top humor of Duck Bob, or even the lighthearted humor of something like Yeti Left Home. But there are barbs, there are little pokes and little asides, there are wry comments from the characters, so it's that style of humor.
So it's not so, let's not say, for example, not so, let's say, bawdy or slapsticky as, let's say, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. No, this is very much, if you, again, think Jane Austen. So,
Right.
if you read Pride and Prejudice, you read Sensibility,
Right.
not Pride and Prejudice and Zombies,
Right.
you
Right.
know, but this is the only difference is that because of the pirate element, there is again a strong swashbuckling portion to it,
Sure.
and it was really interesting for me actually balancing those two aspects of Jane Austen's drawing room style versus this swashbuckling adventure at sea style.
So more fun than funny per se.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So pirates are not known for their gentleness. High seas battles can get rather intense with swords and cannons being fired. Is this a bloody or gruesome book, or is the action more, say, PG-13?
Definitely more PG-13. Yeah.
Okay.
I tend to write very cinematically anyway.
Yep.
So, it's very dramatic. There are definitely sea battles. There are injuries. There is destruction that takes place. But, I don't focus on things like the gore and the violence.
Right. Okay. All right. So this being the roller coaster, you're not getting out of here without playing at least one game. So
Fair enough.
some quick pirate trivia for you. All right. So the skull and crossbones flag known to pirate ships is called a.
Jolly Roger.
There you go. All right. Now, grog is the drink of pirates. What is
Yes.
grog?
Rum, usually.
Right. So rum and
Nice
sometimes,
rum.
right, or sometimes it's mixed with beer or water, maybe a little lemon juice and sugar. Okay.
Yeah.
One musical activity on board a pirate ship was considered a bad omen. What was it?
Oh, interesting. I don't know. I
Whistling.
don't know.
Whistling.
Wouldn't be whistling. Okay. I was gonna
Yeah.
say it couldn't be drums because obviously drums are actually used.
Yeah.
Whistling. Okay.
There you go. So there you go. All
Learned
right.
something new. All right.
All right. So what we're going to do here, folks, is I'm just going to share my screen real quick. All right. Give you a good look at the cover. Now, just real cover. The style of the cover clearly it has a nautical theme to it, and there's all sorts of
Yes.
little embellishments to kind of go in with the style. So talk to me. Is there anything else about Cannon Belle, the Adventures of Cannon Belle, that you want folks to know? And in particular, I have a question. Do you see this as being a one-off adventure, or could we potentially see additional Cannon Belle novels in the future?
So I wrote this as a one-off. This is a complete story in and of itself. It really defines how she learns about herself and what she learns and what she decides to do with her life. So I don't see there being additional novels to this.
Okay.
Um,
Right.
yeah, it doesn't feel that way to me.
Okay, fair enough. All righty. And lastly, when does it come out and where can folks get it?
So it comes out March 1st. It is already available for pre-order on Amazon. You can find the links at crazy8press.com as well. And it'll probably be up at Barnes& and Noble fairly soon as well.
Okay. I think that's what we got for today. So I want to thank my pal Aaron Rosenberg for coming by and talking to us about his new novel, The Adventures of Cannon Belle. And I would just encourage everyone who's into this kind of swashbuckling, dual lives storytelling to be sure to pick up your copy as soon as it's available. Pre-order available right now. It's published by Crazy 8 Press, and it will be officially on sale March 1st, 2024. All right, folks. Thanks, everyone, and take care, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye now.
Thanks, Russ.
Okay, good to see you. All right, bye, guys.